President Trump, as you know, is quick to tout his greatness, but a new survey says otherwise. In fact, presidential historians and political scientists rank him dead last. Well, these are the great ones right here.
Whoa.
Oh, okay. So hang on. Okay, there you go. In terms of their assessment of the greatness of American presidents. So joining us now is Justin Vaughn, co-director of this survey and associate professor of political science at Boise State University. Professor, thank you very much for being here. So what metrics did you and the 170 political scientists who ranked this use to determine who was last?
Yeah, I think each expert uses their own judgment on what kinds of factors shape whether they think a president was great or not. What we did was we gave each respondent an opportunity to rate every president on a scale of 0 to 100, and we averaged those ratings and put them in a rank order so that you see someone like Abraham Lincoln at the top and our current president, Donald Trump, at the bottom.
Now, let me just make sure he's not saying it for himself. No, the president hasn't said anything about this survey yet, but I can anticipate that he will say this is fake news, fake survey, and that these are all lefties. But you did have a party breakdown in terms of the leanings of the analysts, and how did it shake out?
Yeah, so we thought that would be a reasonable critique if you're going to only survey Democrats, is a fair argument to make, and so we gave our respondents the opportunity to say if they were Republicans or Democrats or independents, and then we calculated separate ratings and rankings for each of those groups. And Republicans, when it comes to President Trump, were more favorable to him than Democrats were, but they still had him in the bottom 5.
So he was 40th on the Republican list and 44th on the total list. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. Yep.
And I know you say they're all different factors, but what are some of the factors? How can you ever determine who's the best president and who's the worst?
Sure. Some of the factors that have kind of historically gone into explaining why some presidents are better than others and greater than others are whether or not they won a war while they were in office, how the economy performed while they were in office, whether they had scandals that cursed their administrations while they're in office, how popular they were, or how productive they were. And so a lot of those factors all kind of work together to determine the historical memory of a president.
It's interesting. The president has just tweeted a few minutes ago, "I've been much tougher on Russia than Obama. Just look at the facts. Total fake news." You think he's calling his statement about the facts showing he's tougher on Russia than Obama as fake news?
Fake news is used so often I've lost track of what it actually is.
Now, look, I wonder if this is the kind of dynamic that played into the selectivity by your experts, because now this is demonstrably false. So is this the kind of thing that weighed in on how they would assess the president? And by the way, where is Obama on the list?
Obama came in 8th. When we did the same survey in 2014, he was 18th. So his ranking has jumped pretty significantly in the last few years.
Yeah, but I don't understand actually the ranking of Donald Trump as last, because if the factors as you described them is what went into the thinking, the economy is doing really well, so that should bump him up from last.
But it's about why it's doing well too, right? It was doing well when he came in.
It was doing better.
Was doing well.
It was on the rebound, but now it's like, obviously the stock market has had some ups and downs, but the economy is pretty much gangbusters, so that should bump him up from 44th. And then in terms of winning a war, ISIS, the war against ISIS has also gone better lately on his watch. So why didn't those two factors weigh more heavily?
With Republicans too?
Yeah, right. I think that those are great observations, and I think that just underscores just how overwhelming experts reject Trump's kind of a personal approach to being president, and his demeanor in office, and his way he's reacted to other institutions of American democracy, the way he's treated the media, the way he's engaged in international affairs. Certainly, if we look at the limited number of significant achievements, he's got some positive markers in his administration, from the tax cut bill success to those successes that you mentioned before.
Right.
But I think that we're still seeing an overall negative response, largely based on his personal approach.
I get it. I mean, the markers that you're pointing out, it's a little too soon to tell how it'll all shake out, but it's not too soon to tell about his style and his approach. So it probably gave him an imbalance. And again, Republicans and Democrats didn't do well, but maybe he'll do better down the line the way other presidents did.
We'll have you back. Justin Vaughn, thank you very much for sharing the findings with us.
All right, CNN News.